Hello, I'm Doug with Reef Ridge, and today we are antler staining. A lot of people find antlers that look like this, including me, including Denise. Lots of antlers. The problem is they're kind of dry, some are cracky, some ain't too bad, but they're sun-bleached. Sun is the worst thing for an antler. That's like when you find one, a lot of times you'll pick it up and the backside will be still dark. That don't get no sun. A lot of times animals gnaw on these too, as you can tell. Something's gnawed on this thing a few times. I don't know if they're, we got kangaroo rats here in Nevada. Maybe it's that, maybe it's mice, maybe it's porcupines. I'm not even totally sure, but they do eat on these sometimes. There's a mule deer, a little 5-point mule deer or a 4-point mule deer. This is one I found in Colorado. Decent shed, not too big. There's a whale tail on an elk. These are your fronts, and this is like your sword. There's a 5-point. This one don't even need staining because this thing's only been laying on the ground for maybe 6 months. They drop their antlers somewhere around, mid or so March. I found this mid-September, give or take. But the one I really want to do is one I found chucker hunting. And this one is a big boy. This thing is huge. This thing is so big. And as you can tell, like I said, the back side of this thing is dark because this is what was laying on the ground. And this thing is huge. This thing is hard to handle. This thing weighs 16 pounds, which is ridiculous. Starts palmate a little bit. The thirds are pretty small. The main sword is huge. This thing is massive. It's even broke off. It should have been taller than this. And these whale tails kind of palmated out with a point. Big fronts. This is a great shed. And I'm going to tell you where I found this thing at exactly. It is at coordinates are 27 north by, actually I don't remember where I found it at. But anyway, we're going to stain this thing today. And the first thing we're going to do is clean it. There's always dirt where it was laying, stuff like that. So what I do is I got just utility brush, fairly hard. You can use like a, if your tire brush don't have much for chemicals on it. The stiffer brush has got stiffer outside, middle's a little softer, but this is great. I already cleaned this, so I'm not gonna go out and clean it and show you all that. But you can sit here and brush in between all this rough stuff and get as much dirt off as you can to get, especially around this burr. These burrs right here will hold dirt, hold mud. This one ain't too bad because I brush. As you can see, this part was against the dirt. Look how white this part is. This part's white here. The first step we do after we clean it is we're gonna put this stuff called brie wax on. And this is the Tudor brown color, and I got this from a guy YouTube. It's called Backbone Unlimited. He's big into hunting. He's a great YouTube channel. I'm a subscriber, but one of his videos talked about brie wax. Another thing is, if you do shed hunt or if you do find an antler, you got to make sure you're allowed to take it, because there's a lot of counties in Nevada and maybe others. I don't know all the rules to all the other states, but sometimes you're not allowed to take them. There's a shed hunting kind of like a season, and they do that for a lot of reasons. Is because you have birds laying eggs, birds mating, a lot of things happening. There's reasons why you can't just shed hunt. You got people all over, trampling all over the place, some of these real delicate areas that need to rest. It seems like ever since antlers got into the money game, it turned into kind of a problem, but there's all kinds of talk about that, but I don't shed hunt. But I hunt enough and I bird hunt enough where I do find sheds, and it's great when you find a good shed. I love it. It's exciting, you know. But anyway, we're going to get on with getting this thing stained up. This ain't too of a complicated process. All you're doing is wiping stain on to color this, and you're wiping it off. So let me get my gloves on. Get this stuff opened up. And I got a toothbrush too. The toothbrushes are nice to get in certain areas, mainly around the burr. Mainly around the burr will get in there. There's cheap toothbrushes. You can get a 5-pack for a couple bucks or whatever it is. I probably should use a rag, but I'm going to use this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hit the main bulk of it with this rag, and here's what it's going to look like. You can just wipe this stuff, and it goes a long ways. It don't take a whole lot, and it goes a long ways. And I'm not going to bore you with wiping this down for a while. Actually, this is not going to work. All right, we're going to pause because tearing rags up, so that's a good note. Even these are the garage rags, so we're going to stop and we're going to get a real rag. All right, this is my first time ever doing this, so we just realized that shop towels from the garage do not work. But anyway, so you can put it on, you can put it on fairly thick, and any kind of spot that you can't get down in there with this, that's what you need a toothbrush for. All right, let's get rolling. All right, I got pretty much all of it covered. I'm trying to wipe off as much excess as possible. Actually came out a little darker than I wanted, but I like it. Nice thing is it will kind of preserve the antlers. And look at any kind of spots that don't blend well. You could do a little mix between a little more stain, try to wipe it on and off right away, any kind of little spot. Here's a spot right here that didn't blend in really good, so I just try to wipe it really, really hard. Another thing is, if you know how elk have kind of like ivory tips, they're real smooth. If you want to keep those, you could take steel wool, kind of rub steel wool on them. Tells you how rough those antlers are, some spots. And then try to, I mean, you don't got to make them white, but you can polish the tips just a little bit. All these little tips, little white tips or whatever on these antlers are real smooth, and they start, the farther down they go, the rougher they get. That's why they're always smooth and white. But yeah, you just got to work with it, and this stuff has some odor to it. So we got all the windows, doors open. And I'm probably going to set this outside maybe for the rest of the day, let it kind of dry, little touch-ups here and there. But besides that, that's pretty much it. This side looks pretty good. This side looks pretty good. I darken these antlers up. So thank you.